Happy Good Friday! Today's the day. It's the day that we remember Jesus dying on a cross. And as a result, we don't have to have sickness or disease in our bodies anymore. We can live eternally with Him and have a relationship with Him. I love experiencing God's healings and His miracles, and to Him, it's no big deal. I mean, that's His reality. I believe sickness and disease is a lie. It's not how He operates. That's for sure. And I've personally been the recipient of a few miracles I just wanted to share. I've been healed of the diagnosis of TMJ. Had that documented by a dentist, and I'm so thankful for that because that is an annoying thing to have, a jaw clicking all the time and soreness around the mouth. I've been healed of scoliosis, which is also not a good thing to have. I had a huge curvature in my spine and then no curve in my neck, and God radically healed me of that. In both instances, I had probably gone to prayer over it probably 12 to 15 times at church, just asking for elders to pray for me when they had an altar call to receive healing. I really, when I think back on those healings, when I received them, had a lot to do, I think, with my persistence of just not giving up and saying, God, I know you heal me. And when I released over the desire and released over the outcome, so in other words, not getting disappointed if I didn't get healed, God, those were the moments when God healed me. When I just was like, okay, thanks for healing me. And then just sat back in church, listened to the sermon, boom, heat went all through my back, or heat went all through my jaw, and the next day I was healed. And then I have another story of me going to church asking for prayer from an evangelist that sees blind eyes open and deaf ears open all the time out in Africa. He came out to our church in Vancouver called City Harvest and prayed for people. So I asked him to pray for a blind eye. And in that instance, I fell over from the power of God, just on the ground. Felt a tug in the back of my left eye, which is the eye that was damaged when I was little. I got hit with a metal bat, and that injury detached the eyeball from the retina, which is really important because if you don't have a retina, you cannot have any signal sent from your brain to your eyeball for sight. And so I really needed that done. A retina becoming detached and being attached is a required 24-hour surgery within the time of that happening, and it had been 25 years since the injury. So I needed a miracle. And in the moment of me laying down, I felt that tug on the back of that muscle, and later on that week got into the optometrist, and they documented that my retina in that blind eye is now attached, fully attached. They told me that the health of the eye looks like a newborn or a young child. They said the blood flow is perfect, the macula is perfect, and the doctor told me if what your God is saying is true, then I believe He set you up to receive the final part of that miracle, which will be your sight. So I have been contending for perfect vision, actually, in both eyes, because it's impossible for me to get LASIK done. I'm too high risk in their perspective, because if they mess up, I would be blind. So, and I just don't want to have to wear a contact lens in my right eye. It's the right eye has been doing most all of the work since I've been little for both eyes, so the vision of that started to go. And a couple weeks ago, I got in to see an optometrist and have them get a new contact lens prescription, see where I'm at. And she told me that my prescription was negative 2.0. And I was like, what? It used to be negative 2.25. that means my eyesight's getting better. And then I went a little bit further back to ask a friend up in Washington, who is my optometrist up there, if she remembered my prescription or had it on file for then, and she said it was negative 2.50. I actually think my prescription in that right eye might have been as bad as negative 2.75, but I can't really verify it. But I know for a fact that it has gone from negative 2.5 to 2.25 to negative 2.0, which is thrilling. And so it's exciting to me. That means that God is actually repairing my right eye. And at the same time, I know He's healing my left eye. I had a doctor in Reading when we lived there say that the only thing left that needs to happen for sight in my left eye is the shape of it has to go back to its original shape. And the muscles around it need to relax, and I'll have perfect vision. So I'm still believing for that. And last week, I went to church just to receive whatever God wanted to say to me, and I determined in my heart I'm going to go to the back and ask for prayer, for healing, because why am I not doing that? I did that for every other healing I've ever received. I never gave up. Why? I should do something, you know? So I went back and I asked a gentleman to pray for me, and this guy put his hands on both sides of my eyes and began to pray. And as he did, heat went all through my left eye. It was fiery hot. And I started to fall forward. Oh, sometimes that happens when people pray and they possess the Holy Spirit. They have the power of God in them, and it can be almost debilitating. It can send a person to the ground. But anyway, regardless of that, I was feeling God working on that eye. It was a really neat experience. So today I just encourage everybody to seek what you want. If there's a healing or a miracle, you believe that it's a miracle, and as little as it may seem, as you may think it's not that big of a deal. Like, well, I don't have cancer, I don't need to pray for healing, but you might have eyesight that you want to be perfect, and that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that. So my prayer for everybody today is just to let God release His vision over you, to ask Him for His perspective, and to have Him release vision, not just vision over, like perfect vision, but vision over your life, a vision around and above your circumstance, because I believe the biggest hang up for most people is, we get doubtful when we look at our circumstance, which has nothing to do with what's actually being done in the future, or what God has actually already planned or positioned you for. Your current circumstance doesn't have any effect on that. And God isn't intimidated. Believe me, He's not intimidated by your ability or inability to believe. He doesn't care. He still accomplishes His work that He set out to get done. But sometimes the hurdle that we're coming over, or the mountain that we have to climb up, is a mountain where we defeat doubt. And the only way to defeat doubt is to ask God for it. Say, I need more faith. If you're not getting healed, God, give me faith to be healed. Give me persistence. What is it? And I went to God about the healing of my eyes. I said, what is it? Why am I not having perfect vision yet? What do I need to do? Is it hard for me to receive? What is it? And I wrote what he said, and he said, Mel, you're great at receiving. It's not the issue at all. And he said, there are just certain things that I'm going to allow to happen in your life. They're prayers of yours, dreams of yours when you were a child. And first I'm going to release those, and you're going to see them physically happen right in front of your eyes. And as those begin to take place, your vision's also going to be restored. It's going to be like a simultaneous healing, which sometimes seeing dreams get fulfilled or happen right in front of us is actually an emotional healing that God's after. And but he made it sound like he's just going to do the physical right at the same time. So one thing I was reading today, I was reading some past journal entries. You know, God had told me a couple weeks ago that that what did he say? Forgot what he had said. Thinking something about me doubting. Oh, it was about promises. Oh, it was about things that I've wanted to see in my life. So, dreams that I've had that are not happening yet. And what he said was, here's the thing, is that my timing of when those unfold for you will matter more than meeting your desire of them right now. And that's huge. That's his perspective that he is so willing to share, to let me know, just be at rest, be at peace. And you enjoying your moment right now is more important than anything in the world. And that those desires, you have to trust that God's timing is better than what you want. It'll be better. It'll be more purposeful, and it'll be so fulfilling. When you see things happen in your life that you've waited for years to happen, it'll just be like walking onto the beach after you drove for 3 hours to get there, and you're so happy to see those waves crash. You're so happy to smell the air. You're so happy to sit and enjoy what he has had this whole time for you. The ocean's always been there. It's just the journey of getting to it. And and we must not forget, the whole purpose of life is not for the achievements. It's not for those dreams. That's just stuff that we wrestle with because we know that it'll happen sometime in the future. The whole purpose is the relationship between us and our Creator. It's between us and Jesus. And that's the only thing that we can take with us for forever. One time I asked God, he said, ask me anything, I'll answer you. And I said, what's your favorite part about heaven? And he said, the banqueting table, because I get to sit face to face with you and stare at your face and just talk to you. And relationship with the Almighty is the most important thing. And relationships on earth are second to that. It's also how we see God's nature, and we get to see God through other people and how he works through them. But the truth is, when we die, we're not going to be thinking about what dreams we fulfilled. We will be thinking about the people we love. We'll be thinking about the conversations we had with somebody, or the moments where we sat and looked at our child in the face and we're laughing with them. So just be encouraged today that God wants to release perspective over you. He wants to gift you with a vision. Not even just vision for you, but vision for your husband or your wife or your children or your company or the country or the world. So may he release his vision over you today, and may you receive the healing that today represents.